All right, guys. We're about to go live here. Well, we are live, but we're going to be showing you guys what's going on here. Big time breaking news in Southern Cal. Lots of fire. Lord Jesus, there's a fire. And we're going to show you guys what's happening here. Let's just pull it up here while we're sitting here. I'm right now I'm just alerting everybody to what's going on. So we're gonna stream here this crazy fire here. Let's go ahead and pull up some sound here and listen in.
With family there. Elsewhere, we would go with family, thinking of all the people who left work to scramble back to this area. Ooh, look at that night drop, Marla. Wow, that is impressive at night.
Yeah, really great news to hear that they're still able to fly at night. That doesn't always happen. That didn't happen initially in the Palisades firefight, in the Eaton firefight. So 6 night helicopters doing their thing as a Hughes Fire.
All right, so it's 9,000 plus acres, Southern California. Let me get this out to everybody on our social media network. Please share the feed everywhere you can as well. We are live once again. Live. We need to make sure we get the word out to everybody. It is massive in scope. All right, guys.
The sides have been.
We're about to go live here. Well, we are live, but we're going
roadways
to be showing you guys what's going on
line,
here.
And now it's the head of the fire that we can focus
Big time
on putting out,
breaking
slowing down and
news
putting out.
in Southern Cal.
You use the word contained. I know we use that very cautiously. We have zero containment, though, right, on this fire?
Right. Officially, we have zero containment on that fire. On this fire, you're correct. But I do anticipate seeing that containment come up a lot faster than we did with the Palisades fire. The wind is allowing us to fly our helicopters. They're going to be out here all night. We were able to surge our resources that were already pre-positioned around this area to get here quickly. So the firefighters were able to jump on this quickly, and we have a lot of resources here working, and they will be overnight.
You know, the other good news that we heard earlier was that 0 structures have been damaged or destroyed. Are you feeling that optimistic as we head into the night that will remain the case?
I do. I see a lot of engines and resources that we had available to move ahead to the structures to provide structure defense, while a lot of our resources focused on fighting the fire. So again, having all those crews in the area nearby, pre-positioned, is really going to make a difference on this fire.
You know, I got to think it's a bit of a morale booster to have made such progress on this fire here after what we have just witnessed, what you personally have witnessed, having been there in the Palisades area. Just to have this tonight at this hour, after being on the air for several hours, and say 0 structures burned, the 5 freeway reopened. Still evacuations, though, but isn't this just a bit?
I like the way she's like, we've got victory. It's 0% contained. But we're having a victory. No structures have been damaged. 0% victory, or 0% contained, but we have victory. Like, really? Seriously? How can you claim victory when you haven't even got it even contained, 10% contained yet?
We know where to tactically put our crews so we can engage in the firefight. Not just getting people out of the way. We're actually going to be able to fight this fire.
So, all right, so since we talked to you guys last, it was only 4,000 acres, and that was only about an hour and a half ago. Now it's 9,000 plus acres. It's moving very quickly, very fast, very strong, and it seems to be spreading. Yeah, they got 4,000 firefighters there right now, but they are hitting it from the air, which is good. But you know, no structures, thank God, have been destroyed. But, you know, you got a fire like this spreading so quick with winds. You know, winds are got to be around 30. Let's take a look at see what the winds are. I'm going to pull up really quickly weather.com and find out what the winds are in Castaic. We're talking Castaic Lake. Listen up.
That we still need to extinguish, and we're still doing everything we can, working 24 hours a day to get those evacuation.
This is in Palisades he's talking about.
Also, we know there's rain on the way. We're doing everything we can to protect those communities from mudslides, debris flow, whatever damage that rain might bring to those fire-scarred areas.
You know, as it relates to the Hughes Fire, 31,000 plus are under mandatory evacuation, 25,000 or so under evacuation warning. Those people, many of them could be watching right now. Battalion Chief, what would you like to say to them?
Stay informed however you can, whether it's watching the news, listening to the radio, checking your apps. Stay informed. If you feel unsafe and you feel like you need to go early. If you have elderly people or large animals that are going to take some time, I would say go ahead and do that now. Don't wait till the last second. Get going. Just be safe. Just be on the safe side.
I want to ask you two questions. So we know the 5 freeway officially now fully reopened. It's got to be some welcome news, but also we've got concerns about the winds picking up again tomorrow. We're looking at quite a scene now on our screen to the right of your picture, which, you know, the night sky really illuminates the fire. But as we hear the 5 freeways open, wonderful news, but winds again tomorrow picking up. What is your concern at this hour?
Yeah, great news. The 5 freeway just opened as we came on. Of course, the winds are of great concern. They have dropped a little, as I said earlier, so we're making as much progress as we can now.
Okay, I just looked. The winds tomorrow in Castaic area where he's looking at now are going to be up to 25 to 30 with 40-mile-an-hour gusts. So you're looking at a pretty strong wind that's going to be happening from about, it says here, 5 o'clock in the morning is when it starts to pick up. Actually it starts at about 3 a.m. 3 a.m. starts picking up, getting into the 8 o'clock a.m. area where it's about 25 miles per hour. This is just sustained winds. And then you have your gusts that could be up to 40 to 50. So you've got pretty strong winds coming in tomorrow morning. And how far along are they going to be with this fire before those winds come? I don't know if they can fly during gusts of 50 miles an hour. I'm not sure if they still allow certain types of planes or helicopters, but anyways, it looks like it's potentially. Now, you also have the Palisades. Now, they better get some rain. They're expecting rain, hopefully. Let me just see the forecast for the rain here. I'm looking right now. I don't see sunny wind. I just see lots of wind and sun for the next 24 hours. And then Friday, it's just clear and sunny. Friday, all day Friday. Winds are still, 10 to 20 miles an hour. I don't see any clouds or rain in Castaic area. Santa Clarita, it's all clear on even Friday.
I'm seeing here, if we can get more, we need more. I believe there is more pre-position in the area. So I believe we still have more to order if we need.
Can you compare for me the helicopters compared to the fixed-wing aircraft and how they tackle the fire differently in different ways and what their needs are at this time?
Yeah, so fixed-wing aircraft will drop the red stuff. You see, the fire retardant. These helicopters you see behind me, they're dropping water. They can make long drops to along the fire line, or they can make pinpoint drops on a particular hot spot. So they're very they make very calculated drops in tight areas as well.
All right, so guys, make sure you share this feed on your social media on Twitter, Facebook. With the Twitter, just repost, post it, repost, get it out there. People are searching right now for this fire and what's actually happening right here. You got it on YouTube with us here at Blazing Press. Definitely gave you guys a heads up before this really got going. And we gave you some really powerful and very important information that we reposted on our Patreon page. For anybody that wants to be a free patron, just hit the link below. You can watch the video that we had earlier. We had to take it down from YouTube because it would get a strike. We talked about some very controversial topics that YouTube doesn't allow. And you can go over there and view that video for free. Just become a free patron right now by hitting the link below. And you can see the video that we posted. It's called the title of the video. It's the last video that we posted. Oh, it will be posted. It takes about an hour to drop, so you got to wait till it drops. It's called Emergency Alert for All Patrons. Emergency Alert for All Patrons. And I'll get you the link for that direct link. You're definitely going to want to be there and watch this thing. And what we talked about, very important information about what's happening with the Trump administration, where it's going, what the technologies are that are being rolled out. And really, this is everything that we've been warning about for the last 4 years. Not to mention the last 10 or 15 years that I've been online. I've talked about a lot of different things that lead up to this, but this is the rollout. This is the end game. This is the moment when everything is being ushered into our personal lives, guys. And they're setting everything up. And these fires here are kind of strange to me because this is middle of winter and you still got these massive fires going on. Absolutely crazy weather. You have to know about, weather weapons and things that they have. Okay, there's a direct link. I just posted it in the chat and I'll pin it to the top. What happened there? I went to the wrong place there. What am I doing? Okay, there we go. How did that happen? Okay, that was from the beginning. Sorry about that. I was looking at the wrong feed here. I was thinking I was doing something wrong there. But here we go. Let's listen to some of the commentary here. See what they're saying.
And Star Harvey, our meteorologist, to talk more about what's ahead in the coming hours and tomorrow, peak winds.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Still checking out on the current conditions right now. The temperatures have dropped significantly, so that is something that is really good there. But also the winds compared to where we were during, the start of this fire. So when we started, winds were a lot gustier, but also the sustained winds were moving a lot faster. As of right now, those winds in the area still pushing out of the same direction at about 9 miles per hour out of the northeast there, gusting at about 12 miles per hour. This is what I found looking at the models. We should see the winds range between 10 to 15 miles per hour and gust at least 10 to 20 miles per hour from now through, say, overnight hours. I'm tracking with our models that our winds are expecting to pick up in the 6 a.m. hour. Now, it's going to be a slight uptick, nothing drastic, but a slight uptick from what we will see during the overnight hours. But we really start to see things pick up in the late morning and through the afternoon. And so with that, the National Weather Service does say that we do have dangerous fire weather conditions that are going to persist through Friday. That is the reason why we have that red flag warning in place until then. We have those, dry fuels out there, which are just ready to burn. And so with that, Thursday, tomorrow, is expected to be the greatest period of concern. And so with any fire starting, just as you've seen with the Hughes Fire here, it could be out of control and fast moving. When we started this fire, just right before the 11 o'clock hour this morning, I remember looking up and it just being, 50 acres. And where we are to now, we have seen so many more acres burn there. And so it just is indication that the ingredients are there for these fires to ignite, for them to rapidly spread, for them to grow. And so very calm conditions out there right now, but again, should remain calm throughout our evening, but really picking up during the second half of tomorrow morning. Back to you.
That is jarring news.
Well, I'm looking at the weather.com report for Castaic area where this fire is actually flaming through. And it says that 3 o'clock a.m., the winds begin to pick up. Going into 6 to 8 p.m., it's going to be 25 with gusts of up to 40 miles per hour. So you're talking about very sustained winds of at least 20 to 25 miles per hour early morning. As the day moves on, the winds begin to pick up to about 30, sustained winds of 30, and you're talking about gusts of up to 50 miles per hour, possibly even 60. So lots of red alert warnings for this area. And as she said, it only started at 50 acres, and now look at it. It's 9,000 acres, 9,000 acres. They're talking a lot of happy talk. They're talking a lot of positive thinking. It's kind of like Trump. Everything is beautiful, special, wonderful. Always talk positive, but on the back end, you're getting the and you're being told a bunch of doublespeak. And what ends up happening is people, want to believe the most positive report and they don't evacuate, and then they get caught, or they're not really aware of paying attention because they've been lulled to sleep with positive thinking. And positive thinking is one of the worst things you could have if you're not aware of reality, right? I don't care how positive you are, you're not going to reality away a punch to the jaw, right? What did Tyson say? Everybody has a plan. Everybody has a positive thinking mindset, PMA, positive mental attitude, until you get punched in the jaw. Then you wake up, right? Everything's positive and peachy keen until somebody knocks you upside the head, and then you realize, wow, my positive thinking really wasn't of any value to anyone, including myself. So let's look at what's happening with reality and not just listen to people's positive spins and their hopium. Hopium is not what you're looking for, right? You're not a pessimist. You don't want to be a pessimist, but you don't want to be an optimist either. The key is being a realist. Make sure you have reality in your sights. Your scope is always looking at reality. Then you can pray. Then you can ask the God of heaven to intervene in reality. Then you can see the reality of God's hand at work when he does, sustain your life.
Second, the flames hit any of that dry brush, it just erupts, and you can immediately feel the heat.
But what a difference. I remember you 2 weeks ago at the Palisades fire, and you were just getting whipped by that wind. So the fact that you can hear it, but you're hearing just the dryness of all the vegetation out there. But the winds are a completely different story at this point.
Yeah, fortunately, the winds are not a major factor where we are. I think the main factor right now is just how dry it is. And now I'm actually on the other side.
Okay, I'm going to answer Carly. Carly says, I joined Patreon, but kept getting invites to join. No, if you've joined, you've already joined. You get all the free content. The free content is visible. If you get content that says you need to join, that's the paid content for those who are supporters. You can get all your alerts. You can get all your updates. I make sure all those are public for the public members. Like just this recent video that we posted, it's public. Anybody can see it that's a member. But if you go into the deeper dive and you are supporting our work and those who are making this broadcast right here possible, those are the people that we give a little extra to. And it's not, it's ultimately it trickles down and eventually everybody hears what we're talking about because we have to think about it. We have to pray about it. We got to get around others that are talking about it in our Zoom chat calls or whatever we do, and the research that it takes to get this information. It does take time. It takes a lot of different people's thoughts being added, and this is truly a work of a collaborative work, and we're just spearheading it and then disseminating that information for everybody else to hear. So if you want to be a part of that and you want to be a part of that think tank, and I call it the prophetic think tank or the prophetic roundtable, you come on in. You can support what we're doing, but if not, you still get all the free updates. You still get all the free content that we post and all of our other content that we produce on the main channels here at YouTube and anywhere else. All right. So I hope that makes sense there, Carly.
With the loss of life. They really did a good job. And, fortunately, we haven't seen those structures that were lost, but still we're seeing all this acreage of land burning. And it is very sad. You can tell the firefighters and everyone's walking this way because that's the speed of the fire right now. But yeah, it's always horrible to see this, right? And it's so hot. It feels like a sunburn on our skin.
The crews that you're with right now, is that LA County Fire or Cal Fire or Angeles National Forest or a combo?
Yeah, it's LA County Fire, and they said that they've been on the Palisades fire for the last couple of weeks. So firefighters in our area are just not getting a break. I mean, even things were starting to look good, and the containment was going up on the two fires that we've been battling these last 2 weeks. Now they have this, and they're going full-on attack mode right now.
Yeah, that's something that we talked about earlier with one of LA County fire officials when he joined us live in the coverage. And I had said, well, my goodness, if we are diverting resources from the Palisades fire, which isn't, 100%, pardon me, 100% contained now, it's at 70% contained. Obviously, they still have their infrared technology looking at the hotspots, but would that be impacted that firefight, if you will, in the Palisades area? And he said, at this point, no. So that's good news.
Take note. At this point, no. At this point. But when the winds do whip up, all of those little hot spots, those embers that are still burning, could literally reignite and start more fires. So hopefully it rains. I'm not sure about the weather there in the Palisades, but we can do a little search right here on the Palisades. In fact, I'm going to look right now and tell you what I see here for the Palisades. So we've got Malibu, La Crescenta. Let's see. Let's go to the La Crescenta. Let's go to Malibu. It's kind of in the vicinity, right? The same vicinity. Okay, so we've got. They're having technical difficulties on the site here, but all right. So here we go with the wind forecast for Malibu, California. Malibu, California hourly says winds are at 10. Let's see. Tomorrow is Thursday, so you're looking at no rain Thursday, sunshine, clear, winds getting up to 15 to 20 miles an hour. Decreasing toward the evening. Friday, no rain at all, mostly sunny. Winds are about 7 to 10 miles per hour. So the winds don't look really strong there in Malibu, but let's look at the Palisades because they're talking about Palisades here. Let's see, Palisades, California. Did I spell it? How do you spell it? Palisades? Okay. It seems to be free flowing. Can't see the northbound right now, but once they opened up. Okay, San Pedro. Where are the Palisades, California? How come I can't find it on the map here? It's very weird. All right, hold on. That's really weird. Let's see what the zip code is here, and I can just search it by the zip code.
So, and it's quite different from where we were at 5 o'clock, looking at a different ridge, presumably, that seemed to be affected by all of the water drops that all the frost check drops that made a huge difference.
Okay, here we go. Palisades, California. All right, so it says here, and there's still, like I said, a lot of hot spots. So you're looking at about 10 miles per hour, no rain for the next 2 days, no rain in the forecast. I'm not sure what they're talking about when they say rain. I don't see any rain. Red flag warnings still in effect. This is until Friday. There is weather alerts. They say that red flag warnings are now in effect until 10 a.m. Friday for gusty winds, low humidity. Low. There's also low humility there too. A lot of humility is needed, extra humility there. But no, low low humidity, gusty winds. You're looking at winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts of up to 50 miles per hour on Thursday. That's tomorrow. Then gradually decreasing Thursday night into Friday. So gusts of wind are still expected into the 50 mile an hour range in the Palisades. Wow. So that's really bad. It's a red flag warning, which means critical fire weather conditions are either occurring now or will shortly. Use extreme caution with anything that can spark a wildfire. Residents near wildland interface. So this is all for the same areas that burnt up. All of those areas that are still not affected, that haven't burned yet, are in the crossfire or the crosshairs of these fires. That's all throughout the valley there, and all those valleys near the Palisades. Let's see what he's saying there about Palisades.
But now that they're in unified command, he is helping us out here again. So you haven't gotten much of a break either. Thanks for being with us, but talk to me about how it's going here and what you expect overnight.
Yeah, so fortunately, with so many resources being at the Palisades Fire and at the Eden Fire, we were able to surge those resources. So we have a large number of resources here. We're still over 9,000 acres have burned, but you can see behind me that it is burning in the ridge. So they mostly stopped the progress towards the 5 freeway. There is still a lot of embers there, and that still is a concern if the wind changes direction. But right now, it is moving towards the Wayside Prison, so that is where they're starting to focus some of the resources, and they're still actively fighting fire on the ridge behind me.
I was just checking the forecast, and it looks like from 10 p.m. tonight until about midnight is when the winds are going to be the strongest, close to those 60-mile-per-hour gusts that Star was talking about. And right now it doesn't seem too bad, but obviously that's going to be the biggest concern with still getting these Santa Anas expected. I think this area.
They said 60 mile an hour per hour winds in the next few hours from 10 to 12.
Sitting here, we've seen some flare-ups there. We saw a little bit of embers. We're starting to push through. So that's going to be a big concern of ours, is the ember casting and just seeing where the wind, what direction the wind takes. So that's going to be the thing that we'll be watching all throughout the night.
Wow!
And we have firefighters are on scene, standing by. We have our hand crews, we have our dozers, and so we have a large number of aircraft also on standby.
Okay, so they got lots of resources, but when you got weather and wind that kicks up 60, 50 mile an hour winds, you've got embers flying for mile at a time. They can go a mile or more and still catch fires. So there's really a really disadvantage to these firefighters, no matter how many resources they have, to stop the spread of these fires when it gets that windy. So in the next 2 hours, that's 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 hours, within 2 to 3 hours, the winds are going to pick up to about 50 to 60 miles per hour, and it's going to go for the next 3 or 4 hours after that. Huge, very sustained winds from Santa Ana winds that are going to be pushing this fire like crazy. So we should be staying on this and keeping an eye on it. Let's keep listening and see what they're saying.
As many resources as possible, attach them to that fire.
Okay, people who are watching this either at home or evacuated, they're worried about what to do if they're in this area or maybe even just somewhere else in the Southern California region with these conditions for the rest of the week. What's your message to them? They're concerned about, of course, their families, their animals, with these red flag warning conditions for the next day and a half.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of information being put out online. So there's Genesis app that people can download, especially if you've been in one of these areas where you've lost a home. You can put in your address and they'll give you up-to-date information on it. Right now, this fire, Lake Hughes Fire, is in LA County. So if you go to LA County, sign up for the LA County alerts, and on the LA County Fire website, they have some updates on there, as well as on the CAL FIRE website.
Seeing this pop over the ridge, what are your thoughts?
Well, right now, I mean, I have a house out in Tesoro del Valle, so my immediate concern is that there is some structures that right behind Wayside Prison, the next ridge over from that is Tesoro del Valle and then Santa Clarita, Valencia. So that is a concern that if this fire continues pushing that direction, that there is some structures out there. But we do have a large number of resources out there. They'll be doing structure protection, and we'll be on this fire all night.
Yeah, and don't let this calm wind right now, fool you. There's definitely some big wind gusts coming for the next 24 hours. So no matter where you are in Southern California tonight, make sure you have that go bag ready and a plan in place.
Wow. So he sounded a little more concerned than he did a little bit ago, didn't he? He sounds a little bit more concerned about it spreading to areas where there's a lot more structures. And this is definitely not out of the woods. This positive hopium confessions, this Norman Vincent Peale, Think and Grow Rich, just speak positively, and it's beautiful, and everything is going to be wonderful, and I just love that. It's never going to always match your intentions to get people stirred up for your own reasons. Like, this could very well be just to make people at ease and calm their fears. But see, sometimes people don't. They end up going to sleep because they think, oh, it's all better, and they don't really think that maybe they were given information that really wasn't stirring them up to be vigilant. Let's just put them back to sleep. Let's just make them feel okay. It's okay. So people go back to sleep, and then they realize after the fact that they got fire now coming down their corridor because 60-mile-an-hour winds just picked up and threw a bunch of embers like 10 miles down, and you got fires moving at 3 or 4 football fields every few minutes. That's how fast the fires were moving in the Palisades with 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds. They were moving like 3 football fields every few minutes. Just that's how fast the fires were spreading. So when you got winds like that, you can't go to sleep. Even if you're 5 miles, 10 miles down the way, the fires can move that quick. In a half an hour, they could be 10 miles down the road. An hour down the road, it could be hitting your house within an hour or less, depending on how far those embers fly, and they don't have resources to be able to stop every little flare up. This is the thing. You got to be very vigilant when you got winds like this, and you have to make sure you get the message across to people that it is serious. It is serious. And I was just sitting here listening to these people talking, and it almost sounded like they were giving the kind of a false sense of, it's not that bad. I think we got it under control, and not too many structures, no structures have been harmed. But this thing blew up in about 6 hours from 50 acres to probably now 10,000 acres. It is huge in just a few hours. So I don't know where it's going to go from here, but pray that these people are all awake that are downwind, and where it's going from here, nobody knows. But look at all those lights out there. Those are homes out there.
And still word of winds tomorrow. Reporter Ed Lascos now on the scene. Ed, what do you have for us?
And Christine, some good news as we've been talking. Susan was showing us a little while ago. The 5 is opening, and this is Castaic Road. We are just south of Parker Road exit. Sammy will give you a look. Cal Fire bringing in more of their heavy equipment going up to the ridge, and if you follow that 18-wheeler up top of the ridge, you've got the fire, you've got the smoke. Big, thick, black plume of smoke, meaning that flames on that ridge have hit some more fuel as they go through. But look at the smoke. It's pretty much blowing straight up in the air. That's a good sign as a lot more of the heavy equipment moves in. The fire crews, the strike crews move in here, because that's the battle we're going to see over the next couple of hours, right through the night. We've already been seeing the intense air battle that continues with the Firehawks continuing to drop some 1,000 gallons.
Okay, so here's the good news. The I-5 has been reopened. You know why? Because the fire just went screeching through and burned everything up, and now it's like cinder, just smoldering grasses, and it's off in another direction. So the fire is not done. It's still consuming. It's still spreading. It's still 0% contained. It's still very dangerous. But yeah, the good news is I-5's open. Hooray, hooray. Okay, so what? You got a whole bunch of homes down the way. You've got the fire spreading, 0% containment, 50-mile-an-hour winds coming, and we're going to tell you it's all great because the I-5 was reopened.
That compound, and one of the facilities earlier was threatened, wasn't as fire secure, Sheriff Luna was telling us, so they moved just under 500 inmates to the other 2 facilities on the compound, thinking it'd be safer. Pretty much the situation now, but as the flames move to the south, they move to the east, they're getting closer to that detention center itself, and we know that a lot of the Sheriff's Department personnel are on standby just in case they get the command from fire officials to go in there and start some evacuation. So those inmates are safe at this point, but everybody realizes that fire might be getting just a little dangerously close, and they're ready to move in, the Sheriff's Department, if they have to go in there and make some more evacuations to move the inmates off that facility, off that compound, if you will. But again, at this point, Castaic Road, as a lot of the equipment goes in, they're moving up to the hill. The best thing we've been seeing here, aside from the smoke kind of moving upward, is a lot of the boots on the ground. The strike teams moving in, saw dozens of these vehicles coming in, loaded loaded with maybe 18 or so of the strike crew members. They'll be going in, and they're going to really be doing the hard work over the next several hours before those high winds, if they hit us in the early morning hours. Containment lines, building the line to the south, to the east, because if the flames go, they want to have a wide containment line, because we all know about those burning embers with the winds. If they hit us as strong as some people saying, some more heavy equipment moving in. If those winds come in, that's SoCal Edison moving in. They were worried about some of the lines down here on Castaic Road, de-energizing those lines just in case the fire moved further over this direction in the east. So more of the heavy equipment coming in. But we were talking about those burning embers, and that is a concern if you get those really high winds over the next several hours. That's why they want that containment line as wide as they possibly can get it, so you don't have any fires erupting further down, let's say sparking up a mile or so to the south, and then it's sadly off to a very horrible situation, as we saw, for instance, in the Palisades fire when you have those winds. But Christine and Marla, as Fire Command has been telling us, Chief Maroney was telling us, the good news here, if you want to say there's good news, is we're not seeing those kind of winds like we saw in that devastating, deadly Palisades fire. They're swirling around here right off the 5 freeway, Castaic Road. Sometimes you might get a little bit of a quick breeze coming through, a quick gust.
Well, the deadly winds aren't there yet. They said they're going to be coming in about 2 hours, okay? 2 hours, the deadly winds are going to be picking up. So I don't know why you're telling it's a good thing that it's not like it was Palisades. It could be like Palisades in about 2 hours, the lady said. 60-mile-an-hour winds coming in 2 hours. Hello? You could have said something about that.
And a lot more of the utility crews worried about as you continue down Castaic Road along that ridge. There's some transformers, some electrical situations, electrical outpost, if you will. They want to go in there, shut those down, de-energize it, so that Fire Command, the boots on the ground, don't have to worry about any down lines and problems that might bring us. So that's the situation here, Castaic Road, right off the 5 freeway.
Well, Ed, I know you're going to be bringing us coverage throughout the night here on Fox 11, taking that night shift with fresh eyes and ears there on the ground. Thank you.
Nope, I wouldn't consider taking a collaboration with Agenda Free. No, I've got an agenda, and he does too, even though he says he doesn't. At least I'm honest. My agenda is to get people saved, get them aware of the condition of their soul so they can get it right. I'm telling them I'm into reality. I'm not into fantasy. I'm not into just making money, and I'm not into just building a channel so I can, be a newscaster.
Evacuated 400 people already in a less secure type of building when it comes to fire protection. But we haven't heard anything official from the news conference about that being a big concern right now. And we have that news of the 5% containment. So, Marla, let us hope for the best throughout the night.
Yeah, just to add to what you were saying about the Pitches Detention Center, we learned from Robert Luna, of course, LA County Sheriff, that 476 inmates, so closer to 500, they were moved to another facility on the campus to a more secure location within the detention center itself. More than 4,000 total inmates. And he said, we do have a plan in place if the fire worsens. He didn't elaborate on what that plan would be.
Wow.
That is all.
That's like death penalty by fire. Can you imagine if it spread into the actual prison and they couldn't get out? You know how long it takes to get people out in orderly into buses that are, the security that goes into that, how long that would take? By the time they got them out, they probably would be toasty, crispy critters.
Contained, 95% contained.
Welcome news.
Welcome news for sure for the Eaton fire. And containment for the Palisades fire remains at 70% containment.
All right, let's bring us back here to the Hughes Fire in the Castaic area. We have the mayor of Santa Clarita, Bill Miranda, who's been standing by. Thank you so much, Mayor. We appreciate you waiting for us. Would love to hear your thoughts and update as we get close to 7 o'clock here.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. The news hasn't changed very much, honestly, since about 4 o'clock. The fire continues to go. You can see the flames in the night. It's a little scary when you look at it and you see the winds blowing. Wind is our biggest concern right now. The winds in our valley have a habit of turning on a dime. They can change direction very easily, and as you know from the other fires in LA County, embers can travel. Embers can travel a mile and sometimes as much as 2 miles. So everybody still has to be on high alert that something might happen in their neighborhood. So we're cautiously optimistic. We like what we're seeing right now. We hope it stays this way so that tomorrow morning we can all wake up feeling very, very safe. But we have to be vigilant and alert. And I just got the word that it's 5% contained, which is a start. And we're very thankful for all the first responders, all firefighters, sheriff's deputies, CHP, Forest Service, all these volunteers. Some of the volunteers are from even out of the country and certainly out of the state and out of the city area. But we're getting a lot of volunteers. We're getting a lot of calls. Congressman George Whiteside was on an airplane. I don't know if he's landed back here yet, but he's involved and wants to help in any way that he can, representing the federal government. Senators Suzette Valladares and Assemblywoman Pilar Chavo have contacted me offering their help should it be needed. And, of course, our wonderful Catherine Barger, who has done an excellent job because most of the fires have been in her part of the county, in her district, if you will. So we're just very blessed to have all this help and very thankful for it. We will need it if something bad happens, but right now most everything is being handled well.
All right, I'm collaborating.
In my opinion.
There you go. That's as far as I go.
We are not new to disasters. We've had many of.
I'm collaborating, Michael. That's as far as I go right there, okay?
Just had recent lessons with the fires in Altadena and the fires in Pacific Palisades. So we learn and listen and get help and take the help as needed.
That's great news that you've heard from both federal and local officials. And we just had LA County Board Chair Catherine Barger with us live on the air not long ago. You mentioned lessons learned from the recent fires that we just saw and of course covered. What are some of those lessons learned, and did anything change for your city, for instance, in just the last couple of weeks?
Well, yeah, one of the most important things is when you get the warning to evacuate, at that point you need to be ready to evacuate on a moment's notice. And that means not waiting for 10 minutes to see whether you have everything or not. You have to evacuate right away. These are serious orders. And just because you don't see a fire around your house and you're ordered to evacuate, you don't understand maybe that a lot of emergency vehicles are heading your way. They're heading up the roads, and they don't want you in the way evacuating in the wrong in the direction that you're evacuating when they're coming the other way to help save your house. So that's one of the lessons we learned about. Evacuate immediately. Be prepared and evacuate immediately. Sometimes people get a little too casual, a little too comfortable. The fires initially didn't touch us, and we have to be.
I love the news, but I hate agendas. And that's why I'm here.
Pitchess Detention Center. We know you have 6 helicopters flying at night making these water drops, crews on the ground. Do you have fresh concerns about Pitchess, or are we just kind of where we still were, as you mentioned, some 4 or 5 o'clock tonight?
Yeah, we're still in the same place. They evacuated out of caution, not necessarily out of need. And so they were acting in advance of what could have been something more serious. Nothing's changed. There, as you mentioned, they have 3 facilities over there, and the prisoners are now in the 2 facilities that are better able or further away from the fire, better able to handle things. And that's what that evacuation was all about. We have lots of sheriff deputies throughout this area. So should they need to evacuate pitches, I'm sure they're going to do it in an orderly way.
Well, yeah, and I think the sheriff made that clear that, you know, we have a plan in place if it gets worse. So that's obviously good news there that they're thinking ahead. Any final thoughts, Mayor Miranda, before we let you go?
Yeah, the thoughts I have are be comfortable, make sure you're ready, be comfortable in knowing that we've planned for almost every possibility.
Be comfortable. You see that? Be comfortable. Be comfortable. Don't worry. We got this all under control until it's not. And then don't be comfortable anymore. Get your butt up and start moving and get out of Dodge.
Working together, communicating regularly, and with the help of the media to help us get the word out. We're blessed to have you guys. And so just be comfortable, but be vigilant at the same time.
Yeah, fair to say it's not really a night where you can sleep easy if you're in one of these evacuation zones. Not quite yet. Fair to say?
That's right.
All right, Mayor Bill Miranda, thank you for your time. We appreciate you so much giving your perspective as we are a little past 7 o'clock tonight, Marla. Staying on late.
Yeah, so we are in our continuous wall-to-wall coverage covering the Hughes Fire in the Castaic area for you. Let's get you caught up to speed for the latest information. 9,400 plus acres have burned. More than 50,000 people are either under an evacuation order or warning. We just got the good news that it is 5% contained. More good news. No structures have been burned. None have been damaged or destroyed. And those red flag conditions, this isn't the great news. Those red flag conditions will continue into Friday morning, 10 a.m. We mentioned Castaic Unified School District will be closed tomorrow, Thursday. We're hearing now from the Saugus Union School District and their status for tomorrow, Thursday. They are closing the following schools. West Creek Academy, Tesoro del Valle Elementary, Mountain View Elementary, and the district office. Again, those are within the Saugus Unified School District. Announcing these closures, I'll repeat it again: West Creek Academy, Tesoro del Valle Elementary, Mountain View Elementary.
Welcome to Agenda Free TV. I'm Steve Lookner. I'm the news anchor and host here at Agenda Free TV. And, you know, I love the news, but I hate how every time I try and watch the news, I feel like whatever channel I'm watching is trying to push an agenda on me, is trying to make me believe certain kinds of things. And I don't want an agenda pushed on me when I watch the news. I just want the news. So that's why I created this channel, Agenda Free TV. We do things a bit differently here. We cover the news without an agenda. We examine a news story from many different viewpoints, not just one, and we read your comments on the air, no matter what your views, because we're agenda free. So check out the
the Saugus Union School District.
Like
some closures to report there.
A fire heart.
Well, we are continuing to watch this fire and get new updates. That is a brand new update when it comes to this fire, the Hughes Fire that started to the north of Castaic Lake. It was to the northeast of Castaic Lake, starting at 11 o'clock today. And we're still watching the fire burn tonight, even though we have containment information that came in on the very same day as the fire, which is welcome news. Of course, Mother Nature cooperating a bit in that it wasn't like the Palisades or Altadena fire. You had wind gusts, but nothing like we saw with those fires, which allowed firefighters to plan and prepare and get a handle on things. You look at the night sky there, it's still very concerning. You hear about winds tomorrow, still very concerning, but 5% containment, Marla. I mean, to have containment the very day of a fire, any kind of containment news is really, really welcome news.
You make a great point, because I think it was, gosh, I'm trying to think back. Ed Lascos was in the middle of a live shot when we got, I think, like 2% containment on the Palisades fire, and that was on day 2 or 3. if memory serves me correctly. So yes, they have made significant problems. Sure, it's just 5%, but it's 5%. It is absolutely a start. So good news there. And again, no structures reported to be damaged or destroyed as well. So, and fire officials seem to be cautiously optimistic. That's, I think, a fair phrase to use, because we've heard from Cal Fire, we've heard from LA County Fire, the lead agency, that things are looking good in terms of their firefight. You see all the engines down below. Amazing. We have at least 6 helicopters, we know, that are doing the water drops on this Wednesday night past 7 o'clock. And it's not just LA County Fire and Cal Fire. There's the Angeles National Forest crews that are out there as well. We know inmate crews are there on site as well. They happen to be in town helping fight the Palisades fire. We know that a lot of the resources, in fact, from the Palisades fire have been brought over to the Hughes Fire to help out. And it seems to have paid off so far.
Yeah. We have Robert Moses, who is there on the ground, and talking about the evacuees. There are, what, 30,000?
Oh, Michael, I just saw what you said there, Michael. Okay, so what the problem is that certain videos that we post have to, like the last video we did, we posted, we had to delete it off of YouTube because it would probably get a strike. We talked about, you know, certain things that you're not supposed to talk about, and it's prolific. You know, it's all throughout the video, so we have to delete it. So what I usually do is I go back into Patreon and I'll delete those links because they're dead links, right? Nobody's looking at the link because it's an empty link. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that's because we had to delete it. But usually we'll post it back inside of the Patreon group. For the videos that we can't allow to stay up, we repost them on our Patreon page. And that way you can watch them and we won't have to worry about getting a strike or something. Hope that makes sense.
And daughter, Terry and Valerie, who live here in Castaic, they had evacuated to the parking lot of the Ralph's just about 2 miles or so away from here. And they told me about what it's like not knowing what kind of condition they'll find their house in whenever they're allowed to go back.
Well, I had been home just about 5 minutes when Valerie texted me that there was a fire by the lake, and I went outside, saw it, and probably like for about an hour I was packing stuff up, and I kind of had a mental list of what I needed just because of watching, you know, people who just had gone through this. So I kind of had a mental note, just made a pile, packed it up, got the dog.
I grew up in this house like this. I've only ever lived in Castaic, and I'm 18. So it's definitely really sad. I mean, all my friends live here too. I had friends who got evacuated as well. So we've been kind of checking in on each other.
So the good news is that no structures have been damaged or destroyed at this point, but that doesn't mean that this won't be a sleepless night for Terry and Valerie and for the rest of the family. You can probably see one of those other water drops that just took place here a second ago, and part of the fire really flamed up in a pronounced way in just the last couple seconds since you spoke to us. We actually tried to, we had intended to try to go and get close to Terry and Valerie's home here in Castaic, but we couldn't get there because of all the road closures here. Obviously, there's a pretty wide perimeter set up for the firefighting efforts. And I did want to point out something that we noticed. The particulates that have been flying through the air, you can probably see them coming through our live shot, but it's really pronounced. If you look at our car, it's black, but you can see even in just a few minutes that we've been parked here, this ash that is flying through the air and gathering on our hood. So speaks to the air quality here, and perhaps why we have the school closures tomorrow and all that. I really can't emphasize enough, if you're in this area, wear protection. It's so important because we can literally see the air quality deteriorating by the minute as we keep an eye on that ridge and watch those flames as they seem to leap higher and higher. One piece of good news is that the winds are fairly calm. They were higher earlier, but they are very calm at this point. So hopefully that's an advantage for these firefighters as they move through the night. Guys, back to you.
As much as we're hearing about progress here with the 5% containment, for those people who've evacuated, Robert, I got to think there's a little PTSD when you think of what we witnessed in Altadena and the Palisades, just the fear of it all, the reality for some people, the dramatic change in their lives and livelihoods. There's just got to be PTSD just even thinking about that thought.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You heard what Terry said. She said, hey, you know, the Eden fire, the Palisades fire kind of gave me a chance to reflect, well, what would I take if I were in this position? Well, guess what? Terry found herself in that position earlier today, unfortunately. So, yes, there is that sense of PTSD, and we'll keep an eye on the ridge because the picture is so vivid as I talk to you. But yes, there is a sense of you know, we've been through this before. What do I take? And luckily, Terry and so many others like her were able to not waste any time today. They had a plan. They knew what they wanted to take. They didn't waste any time. They grabbed it and they got out. And as I said goodbye to Terry and Valerie, I said, hey, you know, the key thing is that you guys are safe, whatever happens to the house. Obviously, we want it to be standing, but it can be replaced. You can't. And so luckily they got out of harm's way, and now they'll just wait the night. It doesn't look like they'll be able to go back to their home, at least tonight. Certainly it doesn't seem to be a prudent thing to do. I looked at a picture of how close this fire had gotten to Terry's home, and it's very close. So she would be wise to stay out for the night and just see what tomorrow brings. But yeah, it's unfortunately people have had a lot of practice, if not on their own, then just watching the plight of others who have had to flee and saying, hey, here's what I'll take if I have to go. And today a lot of people in this area found themselves in that very position.
Yeah, we've heard from a lot of people, including I know some people who you talked to, that they were watching the Palisades and Eden Fire's coverage, and they learned a lot, and they actually took steps to sort of fire harden their homes in the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. One woman on the air with you earlier, Christine, talking about sprinklers on the roof, and you know, she took it very seriously, and obviously, hopefully, that'll pay off. Robert Moses, we appreciate your reporting. We'll check back with you soon as we look at a helicopter flying in the night sky, all of those hot spots down below. Let's check in with our meteorologist, Star Harvey, about the winds, but then also we do have some rain headed our way this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Sunday appears to be the stronger rain.
Yeah, you know, that's right. We do, according to the National Weather Service, have a high confidence in that widespread rain. We're looking at anywhere from 1/10 to, I'd say, 1/2 inch, most common, except for portions of the San Gabriels, where we could see anywhere from 1/2 to, I'd say, 1.5 inches spread out over a long duration. So from as early as Saturday through portions of Monday. We do have a thunderstorm chance as well, and that's what Marla's talking about there on Sunday, where we could see, as of now, there's about a 10 to 20% chance that it could happen anywhere at any time on Sunday throughout the area. And with that does give us a low risk of debris flow. It's not zero, but it is low, and this is going to be over some of those burn areas. I also do have to throw out the fact that we do have a moderate risk of some small hail. Again, the timing of this precipitation entering our area is as early as Saturday afternoon, and it is expecting to last as late now as Monday night, with the highest chances being on Sunday. Let's talk about some of the weather conditions happening right now over the Hughes Fire. We do have a much calmer wind pattern. I can tell you once again that when this fire started, just right before the 11 a.m. hour, we did have winds going at about 15 to 20 miles per hour sustained, but the gusts, they were around 30 miles per hour. And so over the last, I'd say, few hours or so, we have seen winds cut about in half. So currently over the area, we do show that the winds are moving in single digits right now, just about 9 to 10 miles per hour, still pushing out of the north, and the gust also in half from when we seen that fire start earlier. So just at about 14 miles per hour. We do expect that the northeast winds could strengthen and expand expand tonight into tomorrow morning. And with the peak winds, that's likely to be tomorrow. That's when the National Weather Service says it is the greatest period of concern. So that could mean our winds could go anywhere from about 35 to 50 miles per hour during that peak gust. So while models are showing that the winds in this area right here where the fire is burning in Castaic, that the winds are calm tonight in the area, the red flag warning lets us know that at any point that could change. The models also show that the winds from now through our overnight hours will be ranging from about 10 to 15 miles per hour, and the gusts could go at about 10 to 20 miles per hour for tonight. Those same models also show a slight uptick early tomorrow morning with our winds around the 6 a.m. hour. Lastly, those models show that later in the morning tomorrow and through our afternoon is when we really start to see the winds pick up, which does match with what the National Weather Service is showing as the greatest period of concern. And again,
but see, really, can you believe what they're saying? Because they've been saying that the winds are going to be stopping for the last week and a half, and they haven't stopped. Okay, they've been telling the public that the winds are over and things are going to get better and the rain's coming, and this has been going on for like a week and a half since the time of the made fires in Palisades. So I keep hearing this pushing back. Oh, the red alerts are now pushed back another 2 days, another 2 days, another 2 days. This has been pushed back, I don't know how many days in a row now. It's been a week and a half. Okay, so how do we even know what they're saying is even true or accurate? I don't know about these weather models. I don't know where they're coming from. But this lady just said before, I don't know if you heard her, she said 60-mile-an-hour winds in the next few hours. So who knows what's real? Who knows what's true until it actually happens? I would say be very vigilant. Don't just take the word of some, mainstream meteorologist that's looking at models that aren't always accurate. All right? So, spaghetti model, it's like the spaghetti model. It's all over the place. What do? You just throw a bunch of spaghetti on the map. Whichever way the spaghetti goes, it could go this way, it could go that way, it could go this way. That's the spaghetti model. One of them's going to hit. It's kind of like these prophets on YouTube. Prophesy this, prophesy that, prophesy this. Every day they got about 1,000 prophecies every day, and then one of them hits. Wow, I'm a prophet. Look at this. I prophesied it correctly. One of them actually works.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me on again. I think it's so important to get this information out to the public, and you guys have been a tremendous help in that. I will just tell you that the weather report that I just heard on the air was phenomenal. So thank you very much for stressing how important those particularly dangerous situations, just how dangerous they actually are. All of Los Angeles County needs to be on alert during those times. But as for the Hughes Fire, right now we are at over 9,400 acres burned, and I do want to make a correction. We are not at 5%. We are actually at 0% still. So please be aware.
You see how they try to change it? It's going good. We got 5% now. It's not even 5%. It's 0% still. Zero. It's a lie. They were telling things that weren't true. Oh, it's great. The winds are going to get better, and the rain's coming. But no, it's not going to be rain until the weekend, maybe Sunday. It's not going to be right away. They were saying earlier that rain was just going to be right, the next day. No, it's not. Winds are going to pick up 60 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. Like I said, don't put your trust in some of these, talking head mainstream media people that are not telling. They're what do they call them? Mockingbird media people. Like they're all being told what to say half the time, and who knows if their software models are being, played with in the background anyway to give people a false sense of security. And who knows? I don't trust anything nowadays. Not with what I've seen. I don't trust what they're saying. Like I said. I don't know why people put their trust so wholeheartedly. You got to be a little skeptical. It's better to be skeptical and do your research and kind of look at what's going on before you just put all your trust in something that they're saying. I say get yourself aware of what's happening, especially if you live in the area.
Just that, okay? They are not recommendations at all. If we're issuing an order, that means do not go back home to get your items. That means turn around, go somewhere safe. It is not safe for you to be there. Evacuation warnings are for people who require a little bit extra time to get out of the house. So if they need to, pick up medications, or if they require assistance walking or whatever it may be, that's when they need to start considering leaving. I will also tell you this, because of how close in proximity the fire is to Pitch's Detention Center, there was some concern about the inmates there. I will tell you that there's a total of 476 inmates that have been relocated from one of our facilities on that property to a different facility. That was purely as a precaution, just to kind of stage them in the event that they do require evacuation. We have incredible partnerships with our custody deputies as well as our transportation services deputies who have worked tirelessly to get the buses where they need to be so they can be staged and ready to go. And I will tell you this, keep in mind PDC has a camp up there that deals with brush clearing all the time. So they're in a very protected area. So the idea for them to shelter in place is totally, they're going to be good up there for quite some time. And if that changes, obviously we have the contingency plans in place. Santa Clarita is no stranger to fires. So one of the things I will stress is that if you're a community member here in Santa Clarita and you're close to an evacuation order, start preparing. The county fire website has phenomenal resources on there for you to identify what you need to pack in an emergency and what you need to grab and go. So that would be my best point of information going out to you guys. I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and speak.
Well, you just rattled off a whole lot of information. I just want to circle back to you in the 5% containment. So you are saying it's 0% contained. The lead agency is LA County Fire. Is that right?
Yeah, according to LA County Fire, we're at 0% containment.
Okay, I wanted to confirm that. Thank you for clarifying. LA County Sheriff's headquarters on X, they're putting out, I think, a very important reminder. And while I have you, I wanted to get your thoughts about drone restrictions during fires. Obviously, we saw what happened in the Palisades fire. With the drone issue, there were dozens of drones. 49 at one point were sighted or seen within the Palisades fire burn zone. One of them took out one of the super scoopers, by the way. What are your thoughts on the drone restrictions reminder for folks tonight?
Yeah, the TFR is not a joke. I can tell you we're working jointly already. FBI is already here at our command post working with us to identify drone operators so that we don't have that problem. I'm hoping that all our drone operators in the area learned their lesson through the Palisades and learned what a absolutely detrimental experience that can be, not only for their drone, but for the services going to the fires. So, yeah, it is extremely crucial that people understand that the TFR is not just there because, your drone might get burned. You could actually very much inhibit the water deployment services.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great reminder, and it may seem silly to bring up, but I mean, it's been such an issue in these firefights, and I know there's a lot of drone enthusiasts out there, so a great reminder. Okay, so 0% containment. You talked about evacuation orders and warnings, and all the necessary precautions people should take. Christine, go ahead.
I want to just go back to that 0% containment because we felt a bit of joy there when there was possible word that there was some containment. So perhaps we were a little bit over-enthusiastic with that information. How concerned are you about that with that 0% containment?
Well, like you said in the weather report, and I'm grateful you guys covered it, the weather has died down a little bit right now, so we are experiencing a little bit of a stillness with the winds. So as of right now, I mean, it's obviously concerning, but there were a lot of resources deployed early on to kind of establish a perimeter. So I'm not fire, so I don't want to speak to their containment. I know that the last update that I had from the command post for fire was that we were still at 0% containment, but they very well could be close to releasing that 5%. We just don't like giving, like you said, we don't want to give false hope. So as of the latest official update, it's still 0%.
And then let's talk about the College of the Canyons. You say the Red Cross is now set up there?
Yes, Red Cross has established a evacuation center in the East Gymnasium. So you can enter that over through, like, kind of near the Performing Arts Center.
And you mentioned the Protect Genesis app. I know that we do have that up on our Fox Local app to help people out. I know a lot of people rely on Watch Duty, but you had talked about earlier how important the Protect Genesis app is in disseminating valuable information that is out there as well. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, thank you. Definitely would recommend Protect Genesis. Watch Duty is great for, real-time updates and that kind of thing, but keep in mind Protect Genesis is what's going to be updated actually by the Office of Emergency Management. So Watch Duty operates a little bit more like a social platform. I don't want to speak ill of them. They are very helpful in these situations, but just keep in mind the official updates are going to be coming from Protect Genesis.
All right, so let me ask you then, how do you spend the rest of this evening, overnight kind of? Where is your focus as we kind of go?
All right, I'm still here, guys. I'm still here. Don't worry. I'm just gonna take a break here real quick, and I'll be right back.
That are not complete or that are put out by the fire department, we'll go ahead and execute those, as well as sending our deputies, which we currently have over 86 resources deployed to conduct those evacuations, and then also handle any kind of looter suppression efforts. So what that means is you'll see a lot of deputies, very high visibility in these evacuation areas. Because we've closed the roads and we aren't allowing people back in, we do put deputies patrolling the streets that are under evacuation to ensure that nobody's trying to sneak up and take advantage of these evacuated homes. So our focus as a sheriff's department this evening is going to continue to focus on preservation of life first, and then second, property with those evacuations and looter suppression.
Looting, that's a whole other issue that we dealt with for both of the Palisades and Eaton fires. So I'm glad that you're on top of it. And, kudos to you and the crews. Anything else you'd like to add?
Just a huge thank you to all the participating agencies. I mean, truly, I wish you guys could see what I'm seeing here on the ground. There is a massive cooperative effort taking place between all of the agencies, all of the departments. And, as a City of Santa Clarita resident myself, I'm so overjoyed just to see the effort that's getting put into this, and to know that these resources are here at our disposal is truly encouraging and truly incredible. So I'm sleeping easy tonight knowing that there's a lot of resources here in our valley to try and protect us. So I'm very thankful for that.
Well, there is so much respect right now for our first responders, given these fires we've had starting off our 2025 in such a crazy way. Thank you so much, Deputy Robert Jensen. We appreciate you from the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station.
Have a great one. Be safe.
All right. Let's talk about the evacuation orders that are in place right now. We're going to list them on your screen for you. You heard the deputies say right now their deputies are out there still completing those evacuations if needed, awaiting any more if needed. So here we have right here Biscay Luz, Bitter Canyon, Cambridge, Castaic Lake, Charlie Canyon, Golden State, Green Hill, Hasley, Hillcrest, Paradise Ranch, Ridge, Romero, Sloan, Francisquito, Kelly Johnson, Reyes Adobe, Sterling, Tesoro del Valle. These are evacuation orders. These are the warnings now. Remember, the deputy said an order is not, by choice. An order is an order to evacuate. These are the warnings, and especially if somebody needs a little extra help, they are giving you this warning now in case you need a little extra help in packing up or preparing and getting that stuff ready to go. Looking at them on your screen here, I'll read this screen here for you. Decorro, Mountain View, Pacific Crest, Rancho Tesoro, Reyes Adobe, Rio Norte, West Hills, Industry, Live Oak, Oak Canyon, Valverde, Hungry Valley, Black Pine, Calyx.
As you give that information, we're hearing from Ventura County Fire, and we know that Ventura County has some evacuation warnings and orders in effect due to the Hughes Fire. We've talked to Ventura County officials. Pardon me. Ventura County Fire Department is now reporting that there is a fire that they are battling, approximately a 2-acre fire. It's called the Acacia Fire. This is at the river bottom off Acacia Road in the city of Santa Paula. Units, according to VCFD, they are on scene. They're reporting a moderate rate of spread and medium fuels pushed by a 10 to 15 mile per hour wind. They say that firefighters are aggressively working to attack the head of the fire. Again, this is a whole new fire, not related to the Hughes Fire. This is in the city of Santa Paula. The Acacia Fire, as it's called, burning along the river bottom off of Acacia Road. Ventura County Fire Department, the lead agency on that one. For more information there, you can always go to vcemergency.org. And I say that with a question mark, or is it .com? It might be .com. Let me get this straight before I give you bad information. Just going through my notes. It's vcemergency.com is a good resource for those of you in Ventura County.
There you go.
.com. And here's a
More
map
fire.
just to sort of paint the picture for you. The Acacia Fire, Ventura County Fire on this one. This specifically, to get even more specific, this is Acacia Road and Todd Road in the city of Santa Paula. So we'll keep a watch on that and hope that that does not spread further. And it's good to know that obviously they're on it, and we'll keep you up to date on that. We've seen a lot of those fires lately on the river bottoms. We had one last night during the 6 o'clock, which was breaking news. We had one last Friday, the auto fire. Last night's was in Jurupa Valley. There was another one. It's escaping me location-wise. We've been just covering fire after fire after fire. But when they're usually along the riverbeds, the bottoms, it doesn't tend to impact too many structures nearby. So that's good news. Back to our coverage of the Hughes Fire as we're now past 7:30.
All right, so let's just look at this, where this Acacia Fire is here. And we're looking at... They said the riverbed, 101. Is it 101? Right in here. Acacia Road. So this is where it's at, in the riverbed. So you've got Oxnard is down below. You've got winds of about 15 miles per hour, which could actually pick up and become a lot stronger. And you've got a lot of communities around here, and the riverbed they're talking about, I think, might be maybe one of these rivers here, right here. What'd they say? San Pablo and Acacia Road, right? San Pablo, I thought they said. Let's see. This is Acacia Road. Okay, I think that this might be it right in here. This is the riverbed here. I'm guessing this is about right where it's at. Yeah, Santa Paula. Well, Rancho Santa Paula. Is it Santa Paula or San Pablo? I thought it was Santa Paula. Yeah, Santa Paula. So this right here, this riverbed is where it's at. You can see right here, you've got the Acacia Road right here where the pin is, but it kind of goes over into this riverbed area right here. There's probably a lot of brush in there. There's some homes in here, but you got, if you get 50-mile-an-hour winds coming through here, then this thing could spread into these home areas very easily. I'm talking, guys, we're looking at Santa Ana winds still happening. The Santa Ana winds are still happening. So now we've got another fire. So we're going to keep an eye on this one too. This is the Acacia Fire. They call it the Acacia Fire. It's right here in Ventura County. Just began, a few acres, maybe 5 or 10 acres. But that's exactly what happened with this other fire. This other fire started here. And it spread so quick to now, it's now, 10,000 acres? So just about 6 hours ago, this thing was only like 5 acres. This one right here. And it's spread to 10,000 acres. So this other Acacia Road, with the winds the way they are, they're 15 miles an hour. You get gusts of winds coming in at 30, 40 miles an hour through there. You're going to see that thing spread. And hopefully it doesn't spread onto homes. So let's continue to listen to what they're saying here.
Last 4 hours or so, the winds have started to pick up a little bit more. I've certainly noticed that since we've been here. So that's something that firefighters are dealing with as well. For a little while, it seemed like we got a break there. The smoke was rising just directly upward. Now you can see it's...
Now you can see they're starting to kind of panic, because now the winds are starting to pick back up. They're supposed to go 50, 60 in a couple hours is what the other lady said. Did you guys hear her say that, or was that just me? Didn't she say 50 to 60 miles an hour in about 2 or 3 hours? That's what I could have swore I heard her say.
We were there earlier. That's how we got here to this area. Waited in a lot of traffic to get here, and it was closed for quite some time. That has since reopened. I know we've been talking about that on the air. Still not a lot of people going through, which is a good thing. You know, there's not a lot of traffic that's going in either direction. A lot of traffic when you're getting out of the LA Basin area, when you're coming up north to the Castaic area. But once you get to this area, since they've opened it, really not too bad at all. That really does seem to be moving. And it's a lot of truckers as well. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of individual cars that are going north and south. It's truckers carrying goods from one place to another. Those had pulled over to the side of the road for a while when that closure was in place, and they were just waiting, as we see during storms as well, waiting for it to open so that they can continue on their route because they've got nowhere else to go. All right, we're seeing some fire engines coming into this area. I hope we're not in their way. We're kind of near a fire road. No, it looks like they're going into the Pitches Detention Center. No, they're turning in here. We might have to move.
Get it out there.
If we're standing in their way going on this fire road. Not sure here. But, you know, just an active firefight, constantly changing. The conditions are constantly changing. The wind is constantly changing. And these firefighters are doing everything they can to protect structures and protect lives. And the good news is so far they have been successful in doing that. You know, no structures, no homes have been lost, and no injuries that we've heard of so far. It looks like they're just using this as a turnaround to go back that direction. But we'll certainly keep an eye on it. We'll keep you posted.
All right, Scott, thank you very much, brother. You and Maria, God bless. Thank you so much, guys. You guys keep praying. We want to try to get our fellowship going back up here. Hopefully we can do that soon. It is victory in Jesus.
Watch Chelsea Edwards, thank you so much. You and your photographer stay safe. Let's check in with Ashley Rodriguez. You've been talking to people who have been in sort of that evacuation mode, and some saying, should I go? Should I stay? Ashley, what's the latest?
Hey, so I am west of the 5 right now. We're about 2 blocks from the 5. We are with Dana and Gary Baxter, who are watching the sky right now, and it's just glowing orange. You have decided to stay. Tell us why.
Well, I actually just got here. I was at work when the fire broke out, and they just opened up the freeway, and I was able to get home. My husband has been here the whole time, watching the fires. I just want to get home. I just want to be here, just to make sure I can get my dogs and pack up and get everything out. We're close to the fires, but we're not quite where we have to evacuate yet. We're ready to go. We're packed up, and as soon as we need to go, we'll go. We're not going to mess around with it.
And I'm on Rainier Road right now, and for the most part in this neighborhood, it seems pretty quiet. I will say that it seems like many people have chosen to evacuate, but I have to imagine when you heard that the 5 was shut down and you're stuck at work, you must have gotten scared.
It was pretty scary and pretty frustrating. You just want to get home, you know. Yeah, it's a hard position to be in, but I understand. I understand why it has to be done. So you just roll with the punches, you know. But as soon as I had the opportunity, I came home as soon as they opened it, and here I am.
Yeah, and that must have been such a relief. And I know if I lived in this neighborhood, I probably would be standing out here all night. I mean, how can you sleep tonight knowing it's that close?
Hopefully if my refrigerator's full of beer, I'll sleep good. But it's been a crazy day.
I bet.
It started like just a little bit of smoke.
I'm hearing a song right now in the back of my mind. Ventura Highway. In the sunshine, where the days are longer, the fire's stronger than moonshine. You're gonna know, oh, you're gonna know, the fires are coming.
And then it kind of looked like it was going to clear up, and a lot of the neighbors started leaving. And
that looks like molten.
Figured, you know,
doesn't that look like molten? Well, that looks like lava.
Then going on.
Yeah, and obviously we're from Southern California. We're used to wildfires. But after watching what happened over the past couple of weeks, it has to, like, put you on edge. Do you feel a sense of urgency when you see flames like this, knowing the devastation it caused?
Oh, yeah. It's, you know, I don't want to lose our house, you know. And behind us there's an easement, and there's some dry plants, so I was watering those just to try to keep everything wet. But, no, I don't want to lose my house, and stay with all our neighbors here. So we're all together and just hung out and watered down things and kept an eye on everything.
Yeah, and I will say, I'll show you all the neighbors we're talking about. Don't hide, guys. Yeah, we got some camaraderie out here, but it's comforting to know that at least for now the winds are calm. But again, there is this ominous red glare in the sky, and I would have trouble sleeping tonight. Obviously, we are hoping for the best.
She just said the winds were picking up, and now she says the winds are calm. She's like, it's ominous looking, but the winds are calm. When just about 10 minutes ago, they said that the winds were picking up. And the other lady said, oh, there's a containment. Oh, my gosh, we feel so much better. There's containment coming. Find out that that's not true either. There's zero containment. There is no containment. Another lady said it's going to be 60-mile-an-hour winds in the next few hours. This lady says, oh, they're just going to be 15. So what's true? I don't know. People don't know what to believe. Terrible reporting here. I'm not sure exactly. I would say just expect bigger winds. That's what I would say, and prepare to evacuate if you're in the area, especially if you're close by. This is really bad.
I hope for the best.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you, Dana and Gary. I appreciate it. So, yeah, that's the latest from west of the 5. We're kind of just sitting here watching, hoping for the best, and hoping that the winds stay calm. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you. All right, Ashley, thank you so much. There's a lot of talk about Interstate 5. It did reopen. Let's check in with Susan Harasuno. She is on the 5 right now. What is traffic like?
Traffic is free-flowing, Marla. Considering how backed up it was earlier today, it looks as if nothing has happened. But yeah, if you want to show that video that I took earlier, which shows you just how backed up it was, actually it's not a great shot because it was just the back end of a semi-truck. But that's what we were looking at, was that the fact that it wasn't going anywhere. So right now, are we on the camera shot? Okay, so this is a right now view of what Interstate 5 going southbound looks like. And so you can see all the 5 lanes of traffic. They're now open. You can see traffic is free flowing. But again, it wasn't that long ago. It was about 6 o'clock. Actually, it was closer to 5 o'clock when Sheriff Luna said, oh, yeah, we are going to reopen the 5. But in fact, it didn't open straight away. And it seemed as if maybe the southbound lanes were opened up before the northbound lanes, and we got caught in a place where it just was standstill. And it was so crowded that at one point when some fire crews needed to get by, somebody actually got out of the truck and then came to our window to say, can you move up? Can you kind of shimmy over? And then just around the time that we were going to try and get off the freeway so that we could bring you a live shot, that was when traffic then started to open up again. And that was well after 6 o'clock. So despite the announcement that the interstate was going to be opened up, it didn't open up for probably another hour after that. But right now, things look great. There is no reason to come up here unless you actually have to be up here, if you have business up here, because that was the other piece of advice.
Things look great. Things look great. It is like mostly peaceful protesters, mostly peaceful fires in the background, mostly peaceful fires. Everything looks great. Winds are increasing, but then again, they're decreasing. 5% contained. Oh, it's awesome. The 5 is open, but really it's 0% contained. Everything looks peachy keen. It's very special. It's very special. It's very amazing. It's the best fire that's ever happened. It's being contained, and we got it all under control. By the way, some news from Trump just now breaking. Donald Trump has issued, or he has imposed, this is breaking news right now. Let's make sure everybody gets this. Breaking news. Donald Trump has imposed a communications blackout across America's federal health agencies, including CDC, FDA, HHS, NIH. All of them, blackouts. They're instructed not to post any information. These agencies have been instructed to halt all external communications, such as publishing scientific reports, updating websites, and issuing health advisories. Everything has stopped. The directive was issued suddenly and without prior notice. This just happened. So what do you make of that, guys? Tell me what you think about that. Give me your feedback in the comments there.
We need to leave the area. We need to get closer to some coverage areas, and there was just nowhere to go as it stood. We had some areas. We had a lane. It was really the HOV. It wasn't even the HOV lane. It's that side part which allows for drainage, etc. That was the lane that the firefighters drove up ultimately. Back to the semi trucks. At that time period, I think because they were jammed up for a while, that's pretty much all we saw was a lot of semi trucks. Very few personal cars. And then now we're seeing much more of the way of personal cars. I do see some trucks that are going up the access road, the one that is dedicated to semis. I see them going northbound. So they definitely are here for sure. But what was remarkable to me was at that time around 6:30, it felt like that's all we saw were a lot of semi trucks.
All right, Susan Hirasuna live there on the 5 freeway. We thank you so much. I mean, that's a major deal to have a freeway shut down. Here in Southern California, we're talking in the heart of rush hour here on a weeknight. So we have great news there, and that the 5 freeway is now back open there in the Castaic area.
I love the way they keep saying positive news, positive things. Oh my gosh, the 5 is open. 5 is open. By the way, there's no bad news coming out of the health sectors because Trump has issued a stay on all bad news. All bad news, all positive. That's all you need to hear is positive. We're doing great things, amazing things, special things, big things, billions and billions of dollars flowing back into our economy. Everything is peachy keen. There's peace coming to the world. Everything is going to be better. Don't worry. Everything is fine. Don't look at what's behind me. This is mostly peaceful fire. Everything is just fine, even though it is a dumpster fire. Don't worry. We've got it under control.
The aircraft come over the ridge and drop water to try to get this thing contained. We had heard earlier that it was 5% contained. Then that was backtracked and 0% containment. We can clearly see some of the more than 9,400 acres that have been burned. Of course, this is an anxious night for people who are either hunkering down.
By the way, I want to say, Chuck, thank you very much. Chuck Pearson in the chat. He is a voiceover artist, and he has done our voiceover for one of our, when we post our intro. If anybody has need of intros, definitely post your link in there, Chuck. I'm going to be posting that in the comments or in the video below section. I want to make sure that this, by the way, this is where the new fires are right here in Ventura County. But Chuck, God bless you, brother. Thank you for doing that for us. And for anybody that needs any kind of voiceover artist information on doing any kind of commercials, he does commercials, he does voiceovers. He's got a great voice, and I appreciate all the work that he does. And just if you ever need anything, go check out his website. It's really awesome. He's done some big stuff too. Very good stuff that he's done. Chuck, you can post your link there, brother, and I'll put it up there so people can find you. This lady's tripping out in the background here. Let's listen to what she said.
As well, so we just knew that, if we have to evacuate and get an Amber Alert, just go.
I spoke to another woman who told me that she was out for a walk this morning, actually right near the lake, and her daughter, she had just gotten home, and maybe 10 minutes later her daughter texted her and said, "Hey, Mom, there's a fire really close by." And she goes, "What are you talking about? I was just outside going for a walk. I didn't see anything." And she looked out her window and she saw it. So that really speaks to just how fast this thing crept up.
Chuck, what's your website again? I got it. I don't have it right. You can type it in the chat and I'll post it. You just type in the first part of it and I'll repost it. It's .com, right?
But wondering if the fire will get any closer, and also for those who are not at home, wondering if they will have a home to go back to. Luckily, so far, no homes have been damaged or destroyed, so that's the good news as we continue to keep an eye on this fire from the old road. Guys, back to you.
That is the welcome news of the night. All right, back on the ground with Ed Lascos, who's bringing us coverage throughout the evening. Ed?
And Christine, all eyes on that fire up there on the ridge, but all concerns on the wind, the swirling wind at times. So this is Castaic Road. The view from this area, just off the 5 freeway, the Parker Road exit off the 5, swirling through here. It seems to have picked up the last 10 minutes or so on that ridge. Look at the smoke, though. Gives you an idea of where those flames are being pushed to the south, being pushed to the east in that direction, as Chelsea was telling us, near the Pitches Detention Center, where they've already had to move some almost 500 inmates from one of the facilities to another in that location. Up on top of the ridge, we continue to see the night attack, the aerial attack on the southern front of that fire from the Firehawk helicopters, Orange County Firehawks, to continue to move through here. And as the fire command has been telling us, that is going to be the plan through the night, especially if the winds continue to cooperate, in the sense that you do not get as strong, maybe over 30 miles per hour, something like that. You get those higher gusts, and we'll see what we have seen in the last couple of fires a couple of weeks ago, where they just can't do the aerial attack. But at this point, that's the plan through the evening. The aerial attacks continue with the choppers, not the fixed wings. They're down till first thing in the morning. But the other part of the attack is what you don't see, although you can see a lot of the flashing red lights on the hilltop that Al will give you a look below the flames. Fire engines set in there, and the strike crews, the ground crews in there. We've been seeing dozens of the vehicles running through here on Castaic Road, moving up on that ridge. Those are the men who really do the job, the boots on the ground, digging in, clearing the brush, creating that perimeter, that fire break, that line, if you will, to keep the fire from advancing, especially if we get some of those higher gusting winds that they're talking could be a strong possibility through the early morning hours. But it's interesting, Christine and Marla, in the last 10 minutes here, at least down here in the foothills, we've been seeing the wind pick up, getting a bit stronger, and as the smoke blows further to the south, they're certainly dealing with that. And as you look at the flames up on that ridge, just above all those firefighters up there in the fire engines, above where they're doing the chopper drops now with the Firehawks and the water drops, those flames also beating back toward the south and the southeast. So that's the situation, and also the focus of this firefight on that flank, pushing it down in that direction. Lots of dry brush, lots of fuel that can burn over there, but also the concern, the Pitches Detention Center, where they are standing by. At this point, they haven't done any widespread evacuations of the inmates there. They've got some 4,000 inmates, according to Sheriff Luna, who was talking about it.
Those inmates are going to be crispy critters if they don't get them out of there. They're going to be slow baked inside of their cells. But just an update here, guys. So this is the new fire that's happening right now in Ventura County, and it's starting to spread. Right now it's in the riverbed here, right there on 101, right off of 101 in Ventura County. So if you see the Santa Clarita, it's not connected to this fire, they say. So the Santa Clarita area is up here. And I'm guessing the fire for the Castaic is up here, right here, where I'm looking at right here. That's where the flames are up here right now. But this fire supposedly is not even related to it, but it's going through the riverbed. Who knows if it's related? I mean, embers can fly, and so can, who knows who started these fires? Maybe they were started by somebody that was starting fires, who knows? But now you've got fires here, which could very easily spread into these home areas if the wind does pick up, and they're saying the wind is going to pick up. So here is the riverbed here. This riverbed right here is what they're talking about, where the fires are. If you can see that, they said the winds are picking up right now. Nope, there we go. Hughes Fire. Let me just pull that back up here. Hughes Fire. What happened here? There we go. So if you see right here, this is where you're talking about. This is the riverbed right here, right in here. And you can see that there's a lot of homes in here. There's a lot of homes right here. And if something happens to spark into these areas, you got the riverbed right here. All of this in here is riverbed. Riverbed, riverbed, riverbed. All of this has lots of fuel. You got mountains all throughout in here, mountainous areas that could burn. And you're talking about communities that mostly farming communities down this way, but you're looking at more potential problems, especially if these mountains here catch on fire out here. So you've got communities down in here, Aurora Verde Park, Hobson Heights. If this thing happens to spread onto these mountains up here, you could have a really bad situation here in this area, because this is a wind corridor right here. The gusts are going to pick up tonight, and if you got fires in here, they could spread very easily in either direction with coals flying at 50 miles an hour. You got the potential for a large spreading wildfire on both sides, and you've got communities all throughout in here. So it doesn't look good. And if it does happen to catch in some of these developments with 50 miles an hour, and they're predicting now 50 mile an hour winds now overnight and into tomorrow, you could probably see the torch effect, or what I call the forge effect. What many people say are, that's what it was. It was some space thing that they beamed down and it started. No, it's just the winds pushing fire, which creates an intense, like, blowtorch kind of situation that gets so hot, and it doesn't have to have, trees or anything. It just needs flames that can start houses on. Once the house starts on fire, there you got your fuel to start other houses on fire. Other houses will catch on fire. Cars catch on fire. Everything catches on fire because it's so hot, because you got that wind blowing like a torch. So just pray that these people are not in the pathway of some fire that's being pushed by some kind of wind that's 50 miles an hour. We're seeing this thing really picking up here. They're saying the winds are picking up now. Look at the winds right now. Look at how strong the winds are getting. Listen to what they're saying.
They're on fire, and you think of the embers that are flying around. They're on the ground. Still very concerning tonight.
Very concerning. But
get the word out. Share this on your social media. Twitter it, Facebook. Share it out. People are just now waking up to the fact that these fires are starting to spread again.
Into Thursday in terms of the firefight, because it really is an all hands on deck. They already had crews in from out of town, from Northern California, from out of state, and they're able to rely also on those resources as well. A quick update from LA County Fire, and it's an important one, and this is the Eaton Fire. I don't want to confuse the two, but they have issued what they call their final incident update. So that is great news. 15 days after the Eaton fire started, they have issued their final incident update. That one 95% contained, and the acreage burned 14,021. We'll have more tonight on the Fox 11 News at 10. As we approach the 8 o'clock hour, we do want to let you know that we will go off the air and put you into prime time and the season finale of Special Forces World's Toughest Test. Of course, if we need to break in to prime time, we will, and then we'll be back either way for the Fox 11 News at 10 o'clock tonight.
It's been a busy week with the inauguration, 2 days of coverage on that, and now fires. More news again, as Marla just said there, at 10 o'clock. Thanks for being with us. I'm Christine Devine. Marla Tejas. See you at 10.
Fox Tonight, a supercharged.
Okay, so they're off air right now. Let's go ahead and see if anybody else is covering it. We'll kind of keep an eye on these things, especially this new fire that's now popped up. I'm kind of looking right now for some updates, because people aren't really on top of this, because, they're not really saying it's a threat yet. But, with winds like this, you got to kind of wonder. The Hughes Fire and now this Acacia Fire. So I'm looking at updates right now on the Acacia Fire. Let's just kind of take a look and see on Twitter if we should be concerned. Acacia Fire. And anybody that knows what acacia is, it's a wood, and acacia wood is it's one of the most hard woods you can get in the world. It's in the top 10 hardwoods, but it's really usually pretty thin. It kind of grows almost like a bush or a shrub, but it's a very nice, beautiful wood, hardwood. We used to have some of it when we lived in California up in the mountains. We had some acacias, but these acacias burn very hot. When they get on fire, they burn very hot. And like I said, it's one of the hardest woods you can get in the world. It's up in the top 10. So acacia, I'm guessing Acacia Fire, if this is an area where there's a lot of acacias in the mountains. Okay, so somebody just said 25 seconds ago, forward progress on the fire has been stopped and crews have a wet line around the fire. Firefighters made a quick and aggressive attack on this fire with multiple engines. One of our hand crews in coordinated water drops by our Firehawk helicopters. Crews will, let's go ahead and show you that right now. This was just posted just now. This is the Acacia Fire in Ventura County. You can see there's, you got your, you got your helicopters, definitely, and lots of fire people out there trying to put this thing out. Like I said, this was just posted like 30 seconds ago from VC Fire Department, which would be Ventura County. They just posted this. Let's just look really quick here. Ventura County Fire Department, and it was posted 2 minutes ago now. 2 minutes ago. So this is fresh news right here. So forward progress has stopped. A wet line is around the fire. Hopefully the winds don't pick up and start to spread it. That's one thing they got to stop, because this is a very dangerous area to lose control of. This is a very dangerous area to lose control, especially with winds. Pray that the winds don't pick up. They're saying they're supposed to pick up overnight. If you got coals down on the floor, those coals can reignite very easy with winds. So hopefully they got more people on that right now, and they're dousing this thing completely with water, because it's definitely got to be stopped in its tracks there. Let's just take a look here and see what they had to say here. So that was a Firehawk. Those are Black Hawk helicopters. They call it Firehawks, I guess, dropping water. I think they're Black Hawks. It says crews will be remaining on the scene for another 1 to 2 hours, mopping up hot spots across the fire footprint. So it does look like they've got a lot of control on it, which is good. That was a nice little update there. Good, good. And then let's take a look and see with this Hughes Fire how it looks, if there's any updates on this. 5 hours ago. Okay, so it was a pretty massive fire, and you're seeing a bunch of oh, that looks ominous, man. That looks terrible. That was earlier tonight. That was 5 hours ago. That was before they shut down the 5 freeway. You can see right there the 5 freeway. They had to shut down the 5 freeway earlier. But here is some more footage. Full breakdown coming. Okay, this was 6 hours ago. This was 39 minutes ago. It says 30,000. Okay, so this was like 39 minutes. This was KTLA that posted this, right? %, containment still. I'm wondering if there's other news outlets that are on this yet. I have a feeling that it's going to get bigger. It says the Hughes Fire is now approaching 10,000 acres with 0 containment. That don't look good at all. That was posted 3 hours ago. Oh, wow, look at this. So this is a close-up view of the Hughes Fire. 15-foot tall flames dance over dry scrubland in 40-plus mile-an-hour winds. Look at that. It's like a tornado. You know, fire creates its own wind as well. If you didn't know that, it's called a firestorm. That's why they call it a firestorm, because fires actually do create their own wind. Not to mention the wind that's already there. If you got wind coming from outside source, yeah, it'll whip it up as well. But fire does have a tendency to actually create its own wind. That's what you call a firestorm. All right, so someone here is posting 28 minutes ago, 3,400 acres scorched. They're way behind on that. And that's wrong information. 47 minutes ago. Let's see if we can find some more coverage on this. Let me do a little search here real quick. I'll do a real quick search and see if I can find any other news outlets. I'm thinking maybe KTLA. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Type it in here really quickly. I would think people would be on this since it's not even 0% containment. You know, you would think there would be other news outlets out there. Let's see if we can find something on this live. Okay, so we do have
coming with thunderstorms, which brings not only erratic wind, but of course lightning. So we're not out of the woods. Where our conversations won't even be towards turning some of these folks back for a while. Obviously, the other countries and states have been generous with their personnel, and that'll be a separate conversation with them. But as far as CAL FIRE, we will move resources anywhere we need in the state at any time. So as long as Southern California needs Northern California resources, we'll be here. Just keep in mind that in Northern California,
okay, this is live coverage here. This here is probably some older footage right here showing the planes coming in, but this is a live coverage interview here.
Around here all too shortly.
I know people in Castaic, and we've been talking about wildfires ad nauseum here for the past.
So hold tight, I'll be right back here. Just stay tuned.
But let's just put a fine point on something. What's the difference between an evacuation warning and an evacuation?
This is all live updates here.
Areas.
On the
It's a great question. So evacuation warnings are those areas that fire and law enforcement officials can see that, hey, this could potentially be an issue. We want people to be prepared to leave. An evacuation order, by contrast, is an area where we know people's lives are threatened. We need them to leave the area so that firefighters can focus on the firefight. Now, there's a little caveat to that, though. In the evacuation warning, if somebody has in their family someone who's an infant or a senior or disabled, or like in this particular area, they're moving livestock, they need to leave when it's evacuation warning, because it can be a challenge to move all those different types of people and animals in that situation. So don't wait for the order. Leave as soon as possible.
Any final advice as we turn into the overnight hours and as we look ahead into the morning, David? What do people in the Santa Clarita Valley need to know? What do people in Castaic need to know?
Well, I'm going to speak not only to those folks, but also everyone from Santa Barbara to San Diego. Please visit readyforwildfire.org so you can find the resources to prepare yourself and your family for evacuation. There's lists, there's ways to identify where the human, small animal, large animal, and livestock shelters are going to be. And there's also go bag information on what to pack. And please stay aware. Go to fire.ca.gov to watch where the fire is occurring and if there's an evacuation warning or an evacuation order where you live.
We do appreciate the context. David Acuña joining us tonight with CAL FIRE. We appreciate the insight. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much.
All right. So we did get our live image back of the fire here. I think Sky Fox got the chopper back above the blaze. So what we're going to do is we're going to stay on top of it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more coverage from Southern California in a moment.
Okay, guys, so here we go. So this is still some of the current footage, but it looks like we got a little bit of a break here. Let's see what happened. Santa Paula Police Department says that please be aware there is currently a small 2-acre fire, Acacia fire, in the middle of the river bottom. But it looks like they've got it all figured out there. So these guys are... Let's take a look at this one really quick here. This is some updates in the last 10 minutes. Here we go.
Shadows of I-5 on the old road, and we have a great perspective of the Hughes Fire. And I want to point out something that Chelsea had mentioned in her live shot just a couple minutes ago. That tall structure you see right in our picture, whether it's a tree or a pole that's on fire, that's one of the more vivid parts of that fire that's sticking up and that's in our view. But we've been watching this ridge, and every so often you can see the water drops take place. The aircraft come over the ridge and drop water to try to get this thing contained. We had heard earlier that it was 5% contained, then that was backtracked, and 0% containment. We can clearly see some of the more than 9,400 acres that have been burned. Of course, this is an anxious night for people who are either hunkering down in their homes, wondering if the fire will get even closer, and for those people who have had to leave. And I've been speaking with some of them today. I met a pair of sisters who are in college, and they told me what it was like to evacuate their home here in Castaic.
We live off of Lake Hughes, just like right next to the lake entrance, so we did evacuate like after 30 minutes of it was burning. So
you just knew you had to go?
Oh yeah, this is familiar territory. We've never had to like evacuate before, but we've always been prepared, so it's nothing new, but at the same time, like with the fires going around this whole month, it is definitely scary. It is.
What goes through your mind as you look at that smoke back there?
Terror, scary. I know we do have a good like firefighters, like always on the run, and I think it's just helpful, but it's at the same time like everyone is in danger.
I only got an alert from the Watch Duty app, and I was just like, I saw it's near our house, and I was like, that's not possible. And then a second later, I look out my sister's window, big black smoke, and I was like, okay, this is actually serious, because the Santa Ana winds are very, very strong, especially during this time as well. So we just knew that like if we have to evacuate and get an Amber Alert, just go.
I spoke to another woman who told me that she was out for a walk this morning, actually right near the lake, and her daughter, she had just gotten home, and maybe 10 minutes later her daughter texted her and said, hey Mom, you know, there's a fire really close by. And she goes, what are you talking about? I was just outside going for a walk. I didn't see anything. And she looked out her window and she saw it. So that really speaks to just how fast this thing crept up. 1 minute it wasn't there, the next minute it was, and it made quick work of many, many acres and not a whole lot of time. And so tonight, a sleepless night, both for those who are staying home but wondering if the fire will get any closer, and also for those who are not at home, wondering if they will have a home to go back to. Luckily, so far, no homes have been damaged or destroyed, so that's the good news as we continue to keep an eye on this fire from the old road. Guys, back to you.
That is the welcome news of the night. All right, back on the ground with Ed Lascos, who's bringing us coverage throughout the evening. Ed?
And Christine, all eyes on that fire up there on the ridge, but all concerns on the wind, the swirling wind at times. See, this is Castaic Road. The view from this area, just off the 5 freeway, the Parker Road exit off the 5, swirling through here. It seems to have picked up the last 10 minutes or so on that ridge. Look at the smoke, though. Gives you an idea of where those flames are being pushed to the south, being pushed to the east in that direction, as Chelsea was telling us, near the Pitches Detention Center, where they've already had to move some almost 500 inmates from one of the facilities to another in that location. Up on top of the ridge, we continue to see the night attack, the aerial attack on the southern front of that fire from the Firehawk helicopters, Orange County Firehawks, to continue to move through here. And as the fire command has been telling us, that is going to be the plan through the night, especially if the winds continue to cooperate, in the sense that you do not get as strong, maybe over 30 miles per hour, something like that. You get those higher gusts, and we'll see what we have seen in the last couple of fires a couple of weeks ago, where they just can't do the aerial attack. But at this point, that's the plan through the evening. The aerial attacks continue with the choppers, not the fixed wings. They're down till first thing in the morning. But the other part of the attack is what you don't see, although you can see a lot of the flashing red lights on the hilltop. That will give you a look below the flames. Fire fire engine set in there, and the strike crews, the ground crews in there. We've been seeing dozens of the vehicles running through here on Castaic Road, moving up on that ridge. Those are the men who really do the job, the boots on the ground, digging in, clearing the brush, creating that perimeter, that fire break, that line, if you will, to keep the fire from advancing, especially if we get some of those higher gusting winds that they're talking could be a strong possibility through the early morning hours. But it's interesting, Christine and Marla, in the last 10 minutes here, at least down here in the foothills, we've been seeing the wind pick up, getting a bit stronger, and as the smoke blows further to the south, they're certainly dealing with that. And if you look at the flames up on that ridge, just above all those firefighters up there and the fire engines above where they're doing the chopper drops now with the Firehawks and the water drops, those flames also beating back toward the south and the southeast.
Firehawks and the water drops. It kind of rhymes. Fire drops and Firehawks. Lots of dry brush. Still ongoing. Pretty serious. Guys, I don't know what's going on. My computer's stuck here. I can't do anything right now for some reason. Well, I'm stuck. What in the world has happened? Oh, Lord, what's going on here with my computer? My computer's stuck here, guys. I'm stuck on this page for some reason.
Who's in here? LA County Fire moving. Look at all these engines moving, at least 6 of them, and they're still coming through. Just got off the freeway, moving up there. So they're doing redeployment, as they talk about it at Fire Command, moving some of the engines around, trying to get ahead of the flames to work on shutting down some of the hot spots, also wetting down the fuel. That was one of the other big concerns, as LA City Fire also helping out. Here's some of their engines going by, certainly. But the big concern was trying to ease the heat load, as they were talking about at that press conference earlier, in that fire zone, using a lot of those engines on the ground and trying to contain, better containment on this fire. Let's head back to the studio.
Great sight to see all those engines pouring in. All right, Ed, thank you so much. 7:55, let's get a final check for now anyway on that forecast with meteorologist Star Harvey. Star, he mentioned the winds are picking up and you did forecast that.
Okay, that was 7:55 was about 25 minutes ago. So let's just see where they're at here. If this is, yeah, this was 25 minutes ago. Let's look at the updates here. Oh, we've got an update from, this is a live update, I think. Let's see. Here we go.
Worse, whether it's wind, whatever that may be, a plan in place to evacuate the rest of the inmates on the entire facility if we absolutely had to. Other than that, it's a newer incident and it's evolving. It's going to change. We're ready for just about anything, which, by the way, includes being prepared for any other incident that would break, God forbid, anywhere in the county of Los Angeles. I do want to report that the 5 freeway has been closed, but I'm told that after this press conference, for a variety of reasons, we will reopen the freeway. So that people can go back and forth. Again, I do want to reiterate that if you do not live in this area and you're following the smoke, you want to go see what the firefighters are doing, turn on the television set. Do not drive into these areas. You are impacting the ingress and egress of emergency vehicles. We don't need more traffic. We want less traffic. We don't want you walking around in the impacted areas to impact the community members who live here. And with that, I'm going to introduce Chief Robert Garcia from the U.S. Forest Service.
Good evening. Just want to first say thank you to Sheriff Luna and Fire Chief Maroney and Director Joe Tyler for the partnership. This incident started out in the early part of the day, as Chief Maroney indicated, and this is in a mutual threat zone, so Los Angeles County Fire Department and the Angeles National Forest entered into unified command right away. And I also want to say how extremely proud I am of the way our responders moved into this area and established command and really established some incident objectives working together. The conditions that we're under aren't as severe as what we've been facing over the last week or two. But what you saw today is indicative of the conditions that we're in terms of the vegetation. So although we're not under particularly dangerous situation in terms of the wind, our wildland fire condition is critical. Absent wind, the fire is going to move through the vegetation like you saw today with the slope and chasing fuel. Very dangerous conditions as to what led to the U.S. Forest Service closing all of the Angeles National Forest, and this is exactly an example why. The other thing I want to offer in terms of resources, I hope that all the citizens here in the area are proud of the pre-positioning and the robust response. This area always sees a robust response in the mutual threat zone, but our incidents between the Eaton, the Palisades, our local mobilization centers, our pre-positioned resources put us in a position for multiple waves of surge resources, both engine crews on the ground, hand crews, bulldozers, and aircraft. And so the response you see is a result of the local cooperation and the local pre-planning in the geographic area, not only within the LA area, but also with our partners in the state of California to ensure that we are prepared for what we're now facing. With that, I'm going to turn over the mic to the director of CAL FIRE from Sacramento, Director Joe Tyler.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Tyler. I'm the director and fire chief of CAL FIRE. Normally, my office is located in Sacramento, but I have found the need over the last 2 weeks to spend my time here in the greater Los Angeles area. We have been impacted significantly over the last 2 weeks, as we all know, related to the Palisades fire, the Eaton fire, the Hearst fire, the Lydia fire. And as we continue through these weather conditions, we recognize that it's not over yet. We recognize that we still have a couple of days to go. So the state of California brings its full force of the women and men of CAL FIRE, supporting the Los Angeles County Fire Department, our local fire agencies, the Angeles National Forest and the Forest Service abroad, as well as our law enforcement partners who are doing so much to respond to all of these emergencies together. Cal OES has utilized funds to bring together pre-positioned resources across Southern California, and the California National Guard has located aircraft, both rotor wing helicopters and fixed wings mobile or modular MAFS units to be able to supplement the air tankers that we have here available locally. This fire had a robust response today, and as you can see behind us, the responders are doing great work to try to contain this fire. Certainly, we are not out of the woods yet. It is important to take heed and caution and follow the directions of local law enforcement, your first responders, as they are asking you to evacuate the area. Doing that will allow our fire resources to be able to conduct perimeter control and extinguish the flaming front of this fire. Many times, we find ourselves trying to rescue evacuees. But today, the community heeded that lesson, and many evacuated the area, allowing them to fight the fire. We will continue to be here to support, not only now, but as we move into the next phase with the potential of rains coming forward and trying to mitigate the landscape to avoid debris flows and flooding. We will be here for you. I want to take the opportunity now to invite the Mayor of Santa Clarita, Bill Miranda, to the podium.
Thank you very much. I'm City of Santa Clarita Mayor Bill Miranda. We just cannot say enough about the work our first responders have done over the past couple of weeks and the work that they are currently doing just north of the city. In the wake of the devastation that tore through Los Angeles, claiming homes and lives, understandably, everyone is on heightened alert and all too aware of the damage these fires can cause. I want to re-emphasize the importance of listening to our first responders and paying attention to the emergency alerts. If your area is under evacuation warning or order, please, if it's a warning, prepare to evacuate. If it's an order, evacuate now. Don't wait 10 minutes and see what's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change in 10 minutes. We want you to evacuate now. Do not hesitate. Do not stay. Grab the necessary items and leave as quickly as you can. And when we mention grab the necessary items, we're talking about critical papers or critical medicine that you may need. We're not talking about packing a suitcase. We're talking about packing a backpack and having it ready. We can imagine the stress and extreme conditions our first responders have been under during this unprecedented time. Do your part to help them. And the best way you can do that is to evacuate. Our city is unified. Our city is in unified command with the Los Angeles County Fire Department and the Sheriff's Department. We're working together to ensure that our residents are safe and minimize potential damage to homes and businesses. All city recreation and community services have been canceled for the rest of the day. Our Santa Clarita transit buses are running behind schedule because of the traffic due to the evacuations. I encourage all of you, if you are safe, not in an evacuation zone, please stay home and off our city streets. We need our streets open for evacuees to safely leave and for first responders to get in. Please do your part to help these fighting the Hughes Fire. I want to end with our heartfelt thanks to the firefighters, the Sheriff's Department, deputies, and other first responders. Your efforts have been nothing but heroic. From the city of Santa Clarita, we say thank you.
That was Santa
All
Clarita
right, guys.
Mayor.
We're going to cut the feed, and if anything else major goes down where it's really out of control, we'll come back on. So for right now, it looks like, I mean, this is some of the helicopter feed here. You can kind of see what's going on there, but it does look like it's still going to be potentially spreading, but depends on the winds in the next few hours and into the morning where it goes. So if it does happen to spread far and wide in the next few hours and there's more alerts and emergency evacuations or whatever, we'll definitely come back on and update you guys. Okay, so stay tuned to our social media, whether it's Twitter, Telegram main page, our Patreon page. We'll alert you guys, real-time notifications. Make sure you got it enabled the real-time notifications here on our YouTube channel as well. And we'll be seeing you guys back in just a little bit. All right, God bless, and that's it for tonight. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. Lord make his face shine upon you. Be gracious to you, and give you peace in Jesus, the Messiah, Yeshua. All right. God bless you guys.